Right. Yeah. So, welcome to today's course. Now we are going to look at, as I told you, we are going to look at text formatting, the comments, and then HTML links. Yeah. So I think last Monday we did this. So today we shall continue with the formatting of the text, comments, and then the links. So I know you are already familiar with links or not. Are you familiar with links?
How to put the link?
Are you familiar with links?
Like how I can put the link?
Anchor links. Yeah, or
Yeah.
something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So normally, I think the last time I taught you that, so maybe you might remembered how it works. Let me see. But first of all, let's start with the text formatting. Text formatting. I hope you open your VS Code. And then you can just open a blank page. Because the way when you open the first one, you showed me, you were working on something. So if you don't want that to close, you can just right click on the file and then click on new window. It will open a new blank VS Code for you so that you can use that. Like if you click on it, it will open another new blank page for you so that you can use that. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. So now let's go to, okay, just now, let's just recap on what we did last week. I'm saying last week. Um,
On Monday.
yeah, that's on Monday. So just open the folder that we did. I want you to open it inside here so that I can see you know how to open it. File, open a folder, and then we navigate to where we are going to, or where we've saved the file or the folder, and then we open the folder here. And this folder is empty. I'll check which one is there, and then check this one. And I want to open the folder. You click select folder, and it opens. You understand? So this was what we did last week, on Monday. You understand? Okay, so we did this on Monday, and I think you can remember a lot of them. So, what do you think is, like for instance, if we ask you to explain the structure of the HTML, how can you explain it? Like just briefly explain the structure of this HTML. So let's start with the document type. Okay, I'm listening.
Okay. Just a minute. I'm trying to.
I hope you are not doing copy and paste.
No. I'm just trying to open the
The VS Code.
boilerplate. Then
Okay, the boilerplate. Oh, okay, all right. Can type an exclamation mark and then it will come.
Yeah.
Or you can just type HTML.
Okay, let's. Okay, first of all, like before I start what I have to do, maybe the browser, if I want to create a browser, then I have to know which kind of browser I want to create. If it is HTML, then before I started, I have to create a folder.
Okay.
And the folder type, it should be HTML. So after I created
No,
the folder, maybe I
the
can go to my file.
okay.
You said?
No, I'm listening.
Um, I can choose to go to my files and maybe selected the place where I want to create the folder. Or maybe I can choose to go to Visual Code Studio and
Mm,
created my folder there.
okay.
So first of all, let's say I created my folder.
Okay.
Maybe
Before
I
you move
name it.
on, before you
Mm,
move on, what's the difference between because you were talking about only folder, but I wanted to know what's the difference between folder and a file.
mm, okay. Folder and file is different. They are not the same.
Okay.
Uh, a file it contain like no, like a file is something that represents on its own.
Okay.
Like it is a single is a single something like it represents on its own. But
Okay.
folder is something that contain the file. Like you
Mm,
can put uh how many files you want to put inside one folder.
okay.
But for file, you can't do that. And you
Mm,
even give me an example as like maybe you have a purse, you have a money, you want to put the money inside the your purse.
yeah.
So the money that you have, the paper is the file, and the purse that you have is your folder.
Okay.
So something like that.
Okay. So let's continue.
So yeah.
So now after
So
you've
before
created,
you create your browser, you said,
yeah, I'm listening.
okay, I said I want to create an HTML browser. So first
HTML
of all, I
file.
have to go
You
to
see, you have to see
a
HTML file, not browser.
okay, it's HTML file.
Okay.
So first of all, I'll go to Visual Code Studio, and before I start typing, because like the Visual Code Studio is kind of already created, like it's not something like you have to go and start building it. It's already there. The
Okay.
moment there's some symbols that you need to put there before it just show for you to start working on.
Okay. That I
So
mean, you're talking about the boilerplate.
yeah, the bola.
Okay.
So let's say I created my folder.
So
Inside that folder, maybe
which symbol can you use to bring out the boilerplates?
you can use the exclamation mark to bring
Okay.
it out,
Okay.
or maybe you can choose to use HTML
Mm-hmm.
to bring it out.
Okay.
So
Okay. So after you've created
so
or after you've managed to bring out the HTML boilerplate. So now let's start
yeah,
explaining the structure of that HTML boilerplate.
okay. Like in the first line, you will see like doc type
Okay.
HTML.
Mm-hmm.
So for that one, is showing you like the name of the browser
The name of the
that you are
browser.
working
Come again.
with.
You keep
The name
saying
of the
browser.
website.
Come again.
Website. What's the website? Saying browser. Is the name of the home page that you are working on,
No,
right?
the document type.
Yeah, okay. Is the
The
name
type
of the
the type
document
of
type
document that you are writing. I mean
that
HTML.
yeah, yeah. So for the second one, like HTML,
Okay.
like that one is the root.
Okay.
The HTML represent the root.
The root
Like
of the elements.
every
Okay.
yeah, the root of the element. And we come to HTML lang.
Okay.
For that one, the lang is an element.
Come again?
Like like everything inside here is an element. Let's say like the HTML is an element, head is an element, the body is an element.
Yeah.
So every element has its own attributes. So
Okay.
for example, for this HTML, it also have its own attribute,
Mm-hmm.
which is lang, which
Okay.
is represent language.
Mm.
And for the language too, it also have a value.
Well, okay.
The value which is like the language that you want to work on your browser. Maybe
Mm.
you want English or French or
Okay.
Turkish, something like that.
Mm.
And for the head, like they have meta.
Okay.
Meta is also an element,
So
and we
before you
also have
continue, what do you
mm,
think about the difference between the head element and the body element?
the head. It represents the title
Okay.
of the browser, the
Okay.
title or the tab
Okay.
or the name of the browser that you are working on. It represents that.
Okay. So let me put it this
Um,
way. Let me put it this way. Um, the head and the body, which content do you see? Do you see the content in the head or you see the content in the body?
you see the content on the body,
Okay, okay, perfect. So whatever it is in the head, we cannot see, except only the title.
the title. Yeah, you only see the title. But
Okay,
for the
let's
content, yeah, okay.
okay, let's continue with the meta, the head meta.
Okay, the head meta is also an element.
Okay,
So along the element, it also have its own attribute, which is cassette, maybe the character you said.
yeah,
It represents character, right?
yeah, character
So
set.
yeah, character set. Uh, it is also an like the attribute declare a character encoding. You said it is
Mm-hmm.
an attribute that declare a character encoding. So and it also have value which is UTF minus 8.
Okay.
It's kind of a universal something like using encoding.
Okay. So it
Am I correct?
signifies or it gives us the all the characters and symbols that we see in the browser or when we are coding.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And meta, another meta, which is which is viewport,
Okay.
viewport. Uh, that one too is the viewport is also like describe the screen size
Okay.
is like it is where the all the content
Shown.
is
Okay.
displayed.
Okay.
Yeah, the words, the device, and everything. And also we come to the initial scale. That one you say for the like 1.0, it is like represent as the percentage, like
Hmm.
100%.
Okay. So the
Like
initial
if you
scale is
are,
100%.
yeah, yeah, it is 100%. But you can choose to maybe put it to 200 or like the size you want. want it to be, the kind of scale you want it to be, you can choose to
Mm.
put it that way. But most of the time they use it like 100%, you said.
Yeah, yeah, but let,
Okay.
let me put something here again. So what I was saying the last time is, even though I was talking about the scale, and I told you about the zoom in and zoom out using Google Chrome example, though it is also part of what is happening in this line, but also you have to know that that section or that line here is just to just trying to tell you that the device, or it's just trying to give you the exact device. For instance, if you are using you, I cannot be using or developing my phone, my website, and then all my this thing, my letters, my paragraph, my H1, all of them will be scattered in a different manner with different devices. You understand? Because we have different devices with different screens. We have desktop, we have laptop, we have phone. You understand? So all of them, in order for whatever we are doing to be or to match inside the screen of that device,
Mm,
this meta, that line, it just is a default to help you, to help the browser understand that this is the normal or the initial skill that we want to use, and the content and then the viewport. You understand? So
mm,
sometimes that place is not anything much, but it's just there to help all the devices to be uniform. You understand?
mm.
So all the
Okay.
devices can be used using this method, so that this browser will not understand something different, so that everything will be understandable in a very scale and default way.
Mm,
You understand? So it just explaining the device, how the device should understand that. Oh, if you, in terms of, if you go on the phone, it should look like this. If you go on the mobile, if you go on the laptop, it should look like this. Or if you go under maybe desktop, it should look like this. So that is what that section explain. You understand?
okay. Yeah.
Mhm. So let's go with the link. I mean, no. That link is just for the fab icon. And okay, let's go with the title.
The title, it represents the tab on
Yeah.
a website, that
Mm.
from your homepage.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's the title.
Okay, that's good. Okay, then we come to the body, and the
The
body
body, it
contains all
contains
whatever you see.
everything. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's perfect. Okay. Mm. Okay, that's nice. So now, since you are able to understand the structure or the simple structure of the HTML, now we have to work with the body, because this is all that the content will be displayed inside the body. So whatever we type here will be shown inside our website. So let's say I'm going to right click, open with my live server, and view what I have. Just open, and it will open. Here is my website, and I have my file icon here.
Mm,
Okay, so that is what we've done. I mean, last Monday. All right.
mm,
So today I was talking about text formatting, and then it's just a simple element that you need to understand, because whatever element that you add, if you add any content between that element, you might want to do some formatting. But mostly this formatting here, we are talking about tests. So when we are talking about tests, We can talk about the heading because it's also a text. We can talk about paragraph, it's also a text. So based on these two, we can write anything about it and talk about, like, give example of how this text formatting works. So let me change the heading to be, let's see, so that we know what we are talking about. Text formatting, right? I save it and I go back to my website and I see text formatting, right? And here is my paragraph. Okay, so before even we talk about this text formatting, because I think last Monday I didn't talk about the different headings, although I've taught you the last time we met, but I don't know if I should just move ahead or I should talk about that H1 and H2, H3 up to H6. Because I think I've taught you that the last time. Because if you have
Yeah.
H2, you can have H3, and so up to H6,
Five.
up to H6. And this has different formatting, like a different font and how it arranges itself. This one is the biggest, the H1 is the biggest, going
Yeah.
down H2,
It's
H3, H4.
nine.
And so, so that is mostly about it. So if I'm going to give you like example like this, you can just say put this as H2 and this as H3, this as H4, and this as H5, and this as H6. Understand? So we have H1 up to H6. So this is normally how it looks. You see from H1 like this up to H6. You understand? So it's just like coming down, reducing H sizes. And these are normally used for heading. You understand? They are normally used for headings. For instance, if you go to most of the website, like let's say we are going to Wikipedia, we are going to Wikipedia and type atom. Let's see. You see this, you can see this is the heading here. And so you can say, oh, this is the heading here because this is the biggest font here. It's used just to structure the to make the writing looks neat. You understand? You know how writing, how people write things and how it works. You understand? We see here, there is a title, or you can write it as a subtitle. Maybe you can use H2, you can use H3, depending on how you feel it will look nicer in your on your website. You understand? Even if you know CSS, you don't sometimes some people don't even write the H1, H2. They just write a normal paragraph, but they will use the CSS to change the font size to make it bigger. Understand? So this one, we don't know whether it is an H2, H3, or H4. We don't know. Unless if you want to check, we just highlight on it, right click, and go to inspect, and then we can see which one. You see here, they didn't even use any text formatting. They just use a spam. You understand? They just use a spam, which is just an inline element. You understand? There are difference between div element and span element. So they just use a span element. You understand? So it depends on you. You can choose to. But when you look at the inside, look at what they use. H1. You understand? So it means that they use what you call H1 heading. So this one is H1. You understand? So mostly that is what they normally do. So this is what I wanted to talk about. So let's continue. So in terms of the text formatting, I think I have to use this one for that. I have to use the paragraph one so that you understand it better. Okay, let's do. Now we have Text formatting, and then you have this. Let me put, okay. You know what break is, and you know what horizontal line is, right?
Yeah.
They are also an element, which are, what do we call them? For instance, if
They
I have
are
something
not.
like BR and I
They
have
are
something like
exceptional.
HR, yeah, they are exceptional. What are their name? Like their name, HR like this. And then I have maybe something like IMG like this, IMG. These are exceptional. What are their names?
The first one, BR, is break. Call it
Okay.
break.
Uh-huh.
The HR2 is horizontal.
Okay, horizontal line. Okay. Uh-huh.
And the image.
And the image element. Okay, so they are all elements. And what element are, like, what is the name? We talk about open tag and closing tag. Understand? And that
They
is
are
where we
empty
talk
elements.
about okay, they are empty elements. Okay, so those are empty elements. So if you see anything like it doesn't have any closing tag, they are empty element. So you cannot put anything inside them.
Mm.
You understand? Because you see this H1 as what we close. So
Yeah.
you can put anything inside. You understand? But look at break. You cannot put anything inside because it doesn't have any closing. HR doesn't have. Image, it doesn't have. So they are empty elements. And you cannot put something inside, or you cannot put an element inside them. But for H1, I can say I want to have image inside it. I can just copy it, write image inside like this, img inside. And it is inside H1. You see, it
Yeah.
is inside H1. It's the same thing that I show you here. You see this Wikipedia here. When you right click, you see that inside it there was a span.
Yeah.
Look at here, there is H1 and this H1, which is closed. So they put the spam inside, and inside it that they wrote atom. So it means that the spam is an element which is inside the H1 element.
Mm.
So we can classify this as an H1 element, even though what is inside is a spam.
Mm.
You understand? So that's what this empty element and the normal element differs. Okay, so that's cool. So now we are talking about text formatting. So text formatting, do you remember something about lorem?
Lore?
Yeah, lorem, like this. Lorem. What is this? That. I'll talk about the paragraph. Can you remember? I think
No.
maybe you might not remember it. Okay. Lorem is also like a boilerplate. You understand? It's like a boilerplate, but it is for paragraph. You understand? Like for tests. For instance, if I want to have, because I'm a web developer, sometimes I don't need to type all the content inside my, for instance, if I have P like this, I want to type something here, but because I'm lazy, I don't want to type a lot of things which waste my time. So I just want something which I can just work on it, like a paragraph or a text which doesn't have any meaning.
Mm.
And so I can just type lorem. And lorem is a shortcut which when you type it and you click on lorem, it will just automatically fill in all the text for you inside the paragraph. You understand? So it just fill all these text for me. And this text doesn't have any meaning. It's just like a random text. You understand? So it's just like a boilerplate which is built in. You understand? So when I go to my website like this and you see it is here.
Mm.
So I don't, instead of me to come and be typing all these things, maybe I just want to explain things. Maybe I'm doing some tutorials and I want to explain some things for someone. I don't want to come here and be typing. It will take me time. So I just need a test in order to do a lot of things with them.
Mm.
You understand? Uh-huh.
But
So that
after
is
that,
how,
you can choose to maybe if you want to write something inside it, you can
yeah.
delete the
So
one
after
that
you
is.
finish your website and say, oh, now I have the real content, then you can just delete them and then write the one you have. So
Mm.
that is the important of it. So let's clear from here and maybe I'll just want a small of it like this. Okay. So if I have like this paragraph, I hope you are following.
Yeah, I'm following.
Okay. So I want to have this like 10 times. I can copy it, copy, and then come down and paste it. I hope you know the shortcuts.
Yeah.
And come down to again and copy, paste it. But all these things is very, very tedious, especially when you are developing a website. You just want
Mm.
to do things quicker. So a lot of time, if you learn how to use the shortcut, it will help you
Mm.
and your productivity will go high. And you cannot go to a company and then they will tell you to type something and then you are typing one by one, one by one. No. When you are at a company, they want you to be productive. So in everything, you need to learn the shortcut. And when you do the shortcut, when your employer gives you something to do, within 10, 15 minutes, you are done because of the typing. Even if not typing, because of the shortcut that you've mastered. So in here, for instance, if I want to have, let's see here, down here, I want to have a duplicate of this. I want to have a duplicate of this. There are a lot of shortcuts that you can use. You understand? So for instance, if I do like this, look at what I'm doing.
For this one, how can I do it?
You see, So that's why I say it is all of this, you have to learn the shortcut of it. For instance, if you want to do that, make sure you can stand here. It doesn't matter. You can
And
stand
drag.
here or you can stand at the end.
Mm.
You understand? Because the reason is you want to tell the computer that if you stand here or here, you want to tell the computer that you want to copy all what is in the line.
Mm.
That is what you are telling the computer or the editor. You want to copy all what is on the line. So if you stand here, it's also good. You understand? Then you hold Alt, Alt, ALT on your keyboard,
Yeah.
plus Shift,
Yeah. Shift. Okay.
Shift,
Yeah.
right? Okay, when you hold those things, then you start pressing down arrow. You understand? The down arrow. But make sure you are here. You stand here. Make sure you stand here. Then hold your what? Alt Shift. Then press on down arrow.
Mm.
When you press, you can press again. Make sure your hand is on both Alt and Shift. You understand? But for the arrow, you can decide to click one arrow down, 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 down. And it's like taking the copy.
Okay.
You understand? Even if you press up arrow, it will still continue because you are telling the computer you want the duplicate of that line.
Mm.
You understand? So that is how it works. So instead of you to be that you copying one by one, one
Copy
by
paste
one,
one by one.
just like so you see someone writing or typing a code and you say, how did he copy? The copy and paste. So now you don't need to copy and paste it. Just do that. You finish. And some people just do that, and even after doing that, they'll just this, this. Maybe they just clear whatever they don't want. And so all of this makes you productive. You understand? So just write it on somewhere, and then you can always remember or try to always use it.
Okay.
So let me do up to 11, I think, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I can save it, and when I go back to my website, you can see I have a lot of them here. So I have up to 11. Understand? Okay, so these are the paragraph. We have 11 paragraphs. So now let's deal with the formatting. But before formatting, I want to show you something which we call comments. There's something we call comments. Comment is like something that you don't want to appear, you don't want it to appear inside the body. You wrote it inside the body, but you don't want it to appear here. Here. You don't want it to appear here. You understand?
Yeah.
So that is common. It's just like for you it's a note. Like when you are coding, you just write a short note in order for you to remember what the code is talking about. You understand? So that's what we call comments. So when you write it, for instance, you can write here as comments. Comments. So look at, I wrote comment, right? So when I save it and I go back to my website, I can see here, but it is comment. I don't want it to appear here. I want it to be hidden. You understand? So what can I do? I can highlight it, right? And then write what? Control forward slash control CTRL plus forward slash. So when I make sure I highlight this, and then control forward slash. Then this will turn into comment. You understand? That is a shortcut of comment. So write it somewhere. Control plus forward slash. You understand? Or if you don't want to write it like this, you can start writing it like this, maybe. You understand? And write exclamation. Immediately you type this, it will complete it for you. You understand? So sometimes because you want to be productive, you just highlight it. And then if you want to uncomment it, we have comment and uncomment. Like remove the comment. You can still use the same thing. You highlight it, control the same thing, control and what? And then the forward slash. It will uncomment it for you. Understand? You highlight it, control slash. Highlight it again, control slash. It's gone. You understand? Or maybe if you do that like this, and then you can just control Z to undo it. We undo. Undo is what? Control plus Z, which is when you do something. And this covers across most anything on the internet. Whatever file that you are dealing with, if you type any mistake or you made any mistake and you want to go back, you press Control Z, it will go back. And that is normally what we call undone. You understand? So when you copy something and paste it somewhere and you don't want it, you can just do Control Z to me undone. Yes, you did it, and then undo it for me or done, or just leave it at the initial stage. That is what it means. So just make sure you know some of the shortcuts. And then when you want to copy something, you just also know control what? Control plus C, copy. You want to copy something. And when you want to paste something, control plus what? V,
P. V.
paste something. If you want to cut something, control plus X,
X.
to cut something. You want to cut it out of it. Cut it out. It means that you want to delete it there and then paste it somewhere. Cut and copy sometimes it's just like it's similar, but the difference between cut and copy is that copy, when you copy it, it will leave the copy there for you. But cut, when you cut it, it will go out. For instance, if I want to copy this, I can write Control C. I have copied it and it is inside my clipboard, which is safe. So when I want to paste it, I just come here and say Control V, it will paste. But for cut, when I right click and cut it, it will go out. I will not see the initial text here. It is gone. It is gone. You understand? So that is normally some of the shortcut you need to know. Okay, so let's continue. Now that is simple way of understanding the comment. So now to comment it, control /. Then I'll delete this. Okay. So now it wouldn't show here. Okay. So in each formatting, I will also try to put the comment. So just follow along. So for instance, let's start with number one. Which formatting do we want? We have a lot of different formatting. So now even if I want to go online and search for, there are a lot of formatting that you can look at here. You see a lot of this formatting element. There are a lot. Here even is just a little bit of them, but there are a lot of them. Some are duplicated, are not used. You understand? And some are used. You understand? So let's see how it works. How it works. Normally, it works like Microsoft Word. I hope you are familiar with some of the Microsoft Word. Let me copy this text and then paste it there for example for you here. For instance, in Microsoft Word, I hope you've used Microsoft Word before.
Yeah, I use it.
Yeah, it is a basic thing that a lot of people are using. So in Microsoft Word, we have something we call bold, right?
Yeah.
So we copy a text and then we go and click bold. It is bold, right?
Yeah.
That is bold. Okay, we can also copy a text like this and go and say we want it to be italic, right?
Yeah.
Italic. And then we say we want to copy a text and we want it to be underline. It's underline. You understand? You copy a text, we say, oh, this text, we want it to be like either superscript or subscript. Or maybe we want it to be a strike through. We strike through like horizontal line inside the words. You see how it is? We highlight a word and we say, no, we want this word to be what? Subscript. Have a character. It comes now, have a character. You see? The subscript. It came down. Understand? So in this way, we can use it to write chemical formula of an element. For instance, if I want to write chemical formula of water, right?
Yeah.
Is what? H2O. H2O, right? So I know I have chemical formula for like this, which is H2O. I have something like this, which is H2O. But normally, chemical formula, normally the H2 comes at the half of these normal characters, right? So
Yeah.
this has to come down. But in order to have that effect, you have to use what? Subscript, sub, come down.
Mm.
Then I can get what? H2O. And we have something we call like normal formula of like a circle or something like that. Maybe pi r square or something with square. So I can just write maybe pi r and then I need the square. So I just want this to be a superscript. So I can copy these two and see I want you to be superscript. You understand? So now it is pi r square. You understand? So all these things are the same knowledge that it is applicable inside VS Code. You understand? Inside the website, wherever you see anything, you understand? That is the same thing that normally we do, we apply there. So there's nothing different. So for instance, let's say we are moving inside our VS Code, and let's say we are talking about some of the formatting elements. You understand? Because you have to know that those are also elements. They have open tag and closing tag. Okay, so let's say we are going to deal with bold to make our text bold. And let's say we are going to concentrate on the first letter, this lorem letter. So for instance, I can put a comment and say, I want to write bold, bold, right? Then I highlight it and then control / bold, right? So I'm going to apply bold on this paragraph. So let's highlight where do we want to apply that bold. So we come here, we say we want to apply it on this lorem. So we make sure this lorem is inside the elements of that bold. So how do you write an element which have open and closing tag? So write a word B close and it automatically it's add the closing tag for me. So I have to make sure that this lorem is in between them, right? Because I want this bold to affect this lorem, right? So I just copy it, cut it, and put it in between, right? So it means that all the remaining letter or all the remaining characters and or words are not going to be affected by this bold. It is only here because I said I open and I close. So I have finished with this bold. And this bold is only going to affect this lorem. So I save it and go back to my website. And what do I see? Look at how this only become bold. But all the tests are the same. Look at it only become bold. If you don't see it, I can zoom it out. Let's see, lorem is bold. You understand? Okay, so let's move on. So that is the first formatting. And it is the same thing as you did here inside Word document. So it is just a transfer of knowledge, but all have their own way of giving the instruction. Understand? So now we've done with bold. What again? We have something we can continue with this italic. How can we achieve that? You see italic and can highlight this and then comment it so that it wouldn't show. Where do I want to put that italic? I want it to affect this only lorem. So I see, can come here and see I And then cut this lorem, put it in between the I, which is italic, stand for italic. Then I save it. I go back to my website and I see the lorem here now is italic. Look at the difference. This is bold. This is italic. Let's continue. We have another, which is what we have underline. So underline, I highlight it, I comment it, and then come here again. I say, let me cut this and write my U, which is underline, right? I paste my lorem inside, right? So U open and close. So it affects only this lorem. So I save it and go back to my website and see the third one is underline, lorem, which is underline, right? Then I go again. We have a lot of them. There are lots. We have something we call strong. Normally, the strong normally looks like bold. They are same. So for instance, if I want to give you an example, I can just create another one here and see, instead of using B, which is bold, I clean this B and type strong. Type strong. Understand? So when I go back to my website, you see it is the same thing. Look, yeah, see, they are similar. So you can decide to use strong or you can use bold. Yes, sir. Mhm. Okay, which one do we have again? We have emphasize. Emphasize. Emphasize also looks similar to, I think, is italic, right? So I can come under italic here and say I want to add one, and then I'll come here and say EM, emphasize. I'll save it, and then when I go back to my website, you see it is similar. This is italic, this is emphasize. And so you are emphasizing on the word. You understand? So like when you go and see some article, they want to emphasize on a word, they make it italic. Understand? So that is how. So you have to understand that the emphasize and italic, they look similar, and then bold and strong, they also look similar. So then we come again and see which one again. We have mark. For instance, if you are reading a book, sometimes you see some highlights on that side. For instance, I was looking at this and look at this, the highlight I did the last time. This highlight is what we call mark. Understand? So if you come here and say, I want to highlight this lorem, you can say, oh, let me say, apply mark on it. It's called mark. So we come here and say, or maybe sometimes just delete all this and just copy this, paste it here, and inside I'll just delete this U and write mark and save it. When I go back to my website, you see it is highlighted. This is what we call mark. It's highlighting the text and it gives it the background color. And the default color is yellow. But if you learn CSS, you can choose to change the color to a different color. You understand? So now, for instance, if I want to change the color, I can even start here and use maybe something like the inline CSS and change the background color and say I want the background color to be blue. When I save it, you see the background color is blue. So this is just a CSS that we call it style. Remember, so can you remember this? What is the name of this? Not the word itself, but the name. Can you remember?
Initial.
No, think about. Just remember what we did with meta. Or what
And their attributes.
what do we, so this is an attribute, you understand? So you see, this is an element, and when you move just a one step, or when you bring a space and write style, that's become an attribute. And an attribute has its own value, you see. The value which signifies blue. You understand? So yeah, you now understand that, oh, this adds some additional style to the mark.
Mm.
So it adds some, let's say, we can say functionality, although it's not functional, like we can say it adds some additives, some addition, some style on it. You understand? So that is how those attributes works. You understand? So you see, we added the star and then we use that star to change the color. But its normal color for a mark is yellow. So that is how it works. Okay, so which one do we go again after doing the mark? We can go and do which one? Okay, you can go and do which one? We can say we want to do subscript. You understand? Subscript. Subscript. Can highlight, comment, and then go down and then just write what? Sub. Short. Sub. What will happen? Look at it came down. Understand? Just a half character below, half character below the normal characters or the normal word. So that is what you can use here. The example that I gave you as H2. So we can just write here. Inside here, you can say, oh, we want this to be 2. We write 2, and then here we want to write H, and after H, you want to write O. Understand? So when you save it, H2O. You understand?
Yeah.
The H2O. So this is affected by the subscript. These are just normal. The H and O are normal, but this is a subscript. You understand? So that is how it works. And then we have another one, which is superscript, right? So you can copy this and say we have what we call superscript. And then superscript. And then instead of superscript, we say we want it to be SUP. So it becomes superscript. So you see the 2 is up. It's not down now. It's up. So it becomes H square. We can just clean this and make it, instead of H square, we can make it pi r. Then save. So it becomes pi r square. Right? So that is how normally it works. Okay. So which one again? You come again and say, okay, what do you want? We want something want something like, I told you something, we have something like strike through. So in here we say it is called delete. It is delete. So if I want to delete something or show that I have deleted something in my website, I can just come here and say del. I put this lorem inside. Where is the lorem? Put inside here, I have what we call lorem. Put it there. And I have something. So when I go here, you see that this look like it is having deleted, meaning strike through. This is what we call delete. You understand? So
So
some of,
instead of doing the normal deleting, like removing it from there, you can choose to just do this one.
yeah, you can just, for instance, sometimes you have a word which if you remove this thing, those words will become very short, and you want them to follow like this, place. Understand? So maybe if we remove all this one will shift here, and it wouldn't be nicer. But you want to delete that thing. So if you just use the delete function or delete attribute here, or delete element, it will just strike through. So anyone who sees this, you see that, oh, this is not among all this. This is just, it's deleted. It is removed. You understand? And another opposite of this is insert, INS. So it looks like underline. It's similar to underline. So for instance, if I say I want to write it here, then I say the name is insert, INS. So I can change this and say INS. So when I save and I go, you see it is L'Oreal. So this is similar to the underline, but in here, because we use insert, it is like you are inserting this lorem into here, into the text. You understand? But normally it's look like underline. Mhm. And which one do you have again? I think there are a lot of them. You understand? We have a lot of them. Let me see if I can find some here. Emphasize, italic, small. Here we have small, you see. Small is defining smaller tests to make the text smaller. Here we make the text bolder. So it is the same thing, like either you make it bolder or make it small. See, small. And okay, let me type something like this. Something like this. Okay. Like this, and then write something like small. Then copy, highlight, and then here I say small. Small. So this lorem will become small. But when you go inside our website, we see that this lorem, look at, is small. Right? It's smaller than this. Understand? We have something big, the same thing. We have this one as big, so you just write big, that's big. Sometimes look at how bigger it is. This is small, this is big. But all these, a lot of them, like if you know how to use CSS, some of these you might not need them. You understand? All these are there just when you are developing something, and when you want to make a changes and you don't want to just go to CSS and write some code, you just want to just write an inline element and something just to make it nicer without using CSS again. You are free to do so. Understand? Mhm. Because a lot of them, some of them are not used, some of them are used, especially the superscript. This superscript, they are normally used when you want to buy in the header, like when you want to buy something, when you go to like Amazon.com like this, and then you want to see their cards. Sometimes you see here at the top, you see here at the card, they write something like zero. You understand? So in order to push that zero up, we use what we call superscript. And when you are dealing with something like elements, you want to write something like a formula for water, you can use subscript. You understand? So a lot of them comes in handy depending on what type of website you are developing, or the content that you are writing will tell, oh, this is the formatting that I want. I want this element, I want that element. You understand? See the strong subscript, superscript, insert, delete. We have mark, and yeah, we have I think mostly that is what you normally need to know because there are a lot of them. However, you are not going to be using all. And it might come in on time that when you need some element that you don't know, just Google it and look at it. And at the end of the day, there's nothing that you need to do. You just because you already have the logic that any element has to be open and close, unless that element is an empty element. You understand? So if I don't know anything, I just write something like P. I don't know P, but because the editor gave me option, I'll just set P, select the P, and I'll just continue writing something inside. And when I save, I'll go back to my website and check what happened or how does it appear in my website. So, P. Or I'll just come and say, oh no, I don't want, I just want to change the P to maybe PRE, pre-formatted tests. You understand? I click pre-formatted tests. I want to know how does it look. Come here, you see how it looks. So pre-formatted tests, it looks like the normal coding or the olden age tests. Understand? Look at how different it with this. Or if I wanted to see it clearly, you can see how maybe like this. And then I come here and say, instead of this big, I click and say PRE. Click on this. You see how it works? Oh no, I made a mistake here. Okay, I just ask for PRE. Save it, and when I go see, look at the test is different from this. So this is the pre-formatted tests, and this is a normal paragraph.
It looks like when you are using typewriter.
Yeah, when you're using typewriting. So when you are using a laptop or a computer, you see something like this, that's they use this. But instead of even this, they can some if you know CSS, depending on the font type, you can also get some olden character type. You understand? Mhm. So yeah, so mostly that is some of this the character, some of the elements depending on the text formatting. You understand? Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to stand inside the paragraph. You can be in the H1 elements like this. Maybe in your head you want to have some formatting inside. Maybe what is H2O? What is H2O? You're asking a question. You're asking a question like this. What is H2O? But here you just wrote H2O. But this H, normally according to chemical formula, this 2 has to come down. Has to be at the half size of the normal letters or normal characters. So I just make sure I target 2 only. Then I go there, I say, oh, I'm going to target only the 2, these 2. So what do I have to do? I have to use what? Subscript, right? I say subscript is sub, then it give me here. Then I can just take my 2 and put it inside here. Understand? And make sure I just arrange this and save. So it means that now I have H2, and then this 2 is affected with the subscript. You understand? It is only affected with subscript because I close it. That's why opening and closing is very important. That's why I told you that for professional coding, you have to make sure you close the element before you write something inside it. You understand? So now if I save and I go back to my website, now I can say, what is H2O? You understand? So it doesn't necessarily mean that you put it inside this paragraph. No, you can put it whether it is H1 whether it is H5 element, H6 element, whether it is inside a div, span, almost most of the element that has tests, because we are dealing with text formatting. You understand? Because every element has the way it has to be formatted. If it is a picture has a width and a height. You understand? You cannot come and say, oh, I want the weight and height of a text. For me, I think this doesn't have any sense. A text only has a font size, you understand, color, something like that. So each element has its own formatting. So when we come on images, learning how to display an image, we will talk about its weight and height. You understand? So that's how the text formatting works. Okay, once again, so after the text formatting and comment, now we move to HTML links. But before that, let me ask if you have a question.
No, so far no question.
I think it's easy for you today.
Yeah, it's easy
Yeah.
because it keep repeating the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These things they are easy, but they are tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is how it is. They are easy, they are tricky. You just have to focus on what you are doing. You know what you are doing exactly, then you can achieve them. So that is what computer is. You are just giving them instruction. I want this, I want that, I want this, and do it what you wanted. It also gives you the same feedback. So you feel that you are doing something. So that is how a lot of developers feel that when they are doing something, uh, they feel happy developing a lot of things because you are giving the computer some instruction, and what you are giving it is the same thing, the same feedback it gives you. So you feel that you are doing something. You understand? But some other courses, for instance, those who normally go to the lab, a lot of them, though they are also doing something, but because they don't get the feedback instantly, when it's kept longer, they feel like some. It depends on how people feels. Yeah, understand. But when it comes to programming like this, you just do it, and if you know that what you did is correct, then you get the results.
And the good thing, even if you make a slight mistake, it just give you error. You made
Yeah,
a
it gives you
mistake.
error,
You need to
definitely.
correct it.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
it's very, very difficult when you are learning debugging, like finding the solution to the errors. It is very, very important in every technical skills. You understand? Because you might know the coding, but ask yourself, what about if it comes to error? Because that is normally what happens in our daily life. All whatever we are doing is to find solutions. You understand? So despite the fact that you know how to, let's say, develop a website, what about if in my website I have some bad coding or coding that has not been styled very well? How can you fix that? Can you just look at the website or go inside then and say, oh, I found this problem here. There is this problem I need to debug. I need to solve this problem here. All these things are type of skill that a lot of people have. So when you are developing, don't think that you are just developing. No. Always when there is any problem, go online, type it on Google or ask ChatGPT. You give you some information, you go back, make sure you solve that. And whilst you continue to do that repeatedly, it becomes your habit. So whenever someone asks you some question, you don't need to even go to Google or maybe ChatGPT. It automatically pops up in your mind, then you give the answer. So that's why some people think that oh, someone is wizard. No, everything needs practice, and when you do that practice continuously, it becomes part of you. You understand? It becomes part of you. So whenever someone asks you a question, you just give the person an answer. You understand? So let's
So
move.
interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
I said this is so interesting. Like the more you get to know it, the more you find it like enjoyable, if I may say. Yeah.
Uh, that's why when you are locked into like learning, some people they got stuck in learning because it's when you are learning, you get some knowledge, you feel that you are learning something.
Yeah, yeah.
You
You feel
understand?
proud of yourself, like
Yeah, you
I'm
feel
learning
proud of it.
something.
That is how the nature is. Uh-huh. Okay, so let's look at links. I know you are familiar with links, but maybe not much, or maybe you cannot remember what we did the last time.
You
So
just
let's,
did the image, you copy
okay.
and pasted it for the fab icon,
Hmm.
and yeah,
Okay, okay. So we talk about links, or some people call it anchor. Why anchor?
mm,
The anchor means, this the word anchor. This word anchor. I just look at it as how do you call this word? Let me go here and anchor. Let me see. Do you have the image? I want to see that. There's an image for anchor. See if I can remember. This thing like.
mm,
So I think for me, I just although I don't know the reality in it, or maybe the history background, or maybe, but I just feel that maybe they took all these names from this picture, the anchor, because normally this is like a hook, and when you put the hook,
yeah,
it
this
catch
for the
something
shape.
and drag it, and then okay,
Yeah.
or pull it. And so that is normally how links also works similar to like similar in that way. You understand? Because when you click, it's like you are going somewhere.